yesterday. Had such trouble yesterday. My body couldn't take the heat yesterday again. Felt like I was passing out. I had a friend, another junk removal company, reach out to me yesterday. And he said, "Hey Ricardo, I'm thinking of putting a 40-yard dumpster at my mom's house. What do you think?" And then I told him, "Good morning, India." I was so sick yesterday, bro. Dying over here. He was asking me if it was a good idea that he put a 40-yard dumpster on his property so he can dump on the property. That was the question. And I told him, I said, "Okay, well, how busy are you?" And he said, "Well, last week was pretty slow. We had a slow week last week." And I asked him, I said, "Well, how many jobs did you do last week? Because it's got to be plenty of jobs on the schedule for you to have a dumpster on the property." And that's what we're going to talk about right now. Let's get into this video. Hey guys, it's Ricardo, Junk Guys DFW. I'm the owner of a local junk removal company here in Dallas-Fort Worth. It's called Junk Guys. And I also own 2 haunted houses, one in Dallas and one in Fort Worth, okay? Now, well, thank you, India. Now, let me talk about what has happened with the whole dumpster in my property. I have another dumpster right now. I placed a dumpster yesterday again in Dallas because it was totally maxed out. And then we have an empty dumpster in Fort Worth too at the Chester property. And I asked my friend yesterday, okay, he called me, he said, "Ricardo, I want to place a dumpster on my property just like you do it. You managed to do it. It works for you. Why can't I do it?" And I said, "Okay, no problem." I said, "How many jobs did you do last week?" And he goes, "I did 3. It was pretty slow." And I said, "Okay." I said, "How many did you do the week before it?" And he said, "We had a busy week. We did 9. Now, 9 on a busy week. That is 2 days of work for me on a slow week. Because yesterday I did a total of 3, 4, 6, 7 jobs. Yesterday I did 7 jobs. And I was done. I was so done, exhausted. I came home, it was sweating. I jumped in my bed and I just was out. I was out, dude. It was so heat exhausting. I did 7 jobs yesterday. And this guy did 9 in a whole week. When you rent a dumpster, you usually rent it out for a whole week, 7 days. You cannot you cannot get a dumpster, a 40-yard dumpster, and fill it up. And just fill it up in a week with 3 jobs. It's just not gonna work. And then they're gonna pull it and you're gonna spend money on a dumpster. You have to have the jobs. You have to have the amount of work that is needed in your junk removal service to supply yourself with the dumpster is a different beast. You have to have the work. You cannot be placing a dumpster on the property and then have it empty. And then in 7 days they come back and pick up an empty dumpster. That doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? That doesn't make any sense. You have to have the jobs to dump in a dumpster. You have to have the jobs. And that's his biggest fault. He doesn't have the jobs, so I wouldn't recommend it for him. Now, if you're really, really busy and you're moving quickly all the time and you're going from here to there, there to here, yeah, maybe a dumpster would be good for you, but not for him. Yeah, a dumpster is not adequate for his business. I fill in my dumpsters twice a week, sometimes once a week, and then they're moving so fast. I'm rotating the dumpsters so fast. So I'm spending easily $500 to $1,000 every week on these dumpsters, and then 2 locations, so $2,000 a week, $1,000 a week sometimes. Okay, so trust me, I'm not like at a place where I'm not filling up these dumpsters. I'm filling up these dumpsters everywhere, every time. I'm always filling up these dumpsters. So before you have the grander idea of, hey, maybe I should put a dumpster on my property, you got to think twice, man. You got to think twice to know you're doing it right. Because this guy's idea of having a dumpster on his property is not right. If you don't have the jobs for the dumpster, then you're not going to win. You don't have the capability. You don't have the amount of work that it takes. And it's just not going to work out for you. You imagine ordering a dumpster. You have a 40-yard dumpster on your property or your mom's property or whatever you do. And in a week you did 3 jobs. And you put them all in the dumpster. And then they come and pick up the dumpster in 7 days. Come on, man. Come on. You're having an empty dumpster. You should have just got a 10-yard or 12-yard. Especially depends on what size of your trailer you have. You know, how big is your trailer? Especially if that's the way. So there's a lot of little things that go with it too. You know, the dumpster company that I've been working with, I've been working with them for about 8 years. And this dumpster company, they dropped off a lot of dumpsters to me at different locations. In the past, when I had hoarder house, they dropped the dumpsters. Whenever I had small clean house, they dropped dumpsters. So I've dealt with these companies before. But I'm going to tell you, man, if you want to do it for your own business, you better have the business for it. You're going to lose on this. And that's the realistic fact. Any newcomers in the business, don't do it. Don't do it. You don't have the jobs for it. You don't have the jobs for it. You know, I love it when people do videos or talk about things that they have no idea of what they're saying. No idea. They're building videos for the junk removal community, and we could care less. They need to be building videos for the customers. And they get on these rants about talking about, hey, maybe I should put a 40-yard dumpster on my property. No, dude, if you've never done it, don't do it. Don't talk about it. So I just want to make that little point too. I saw a person talking about it the other day, and I was just like, dude, you're crazy. Great. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Have a great day. Bye-bye, guys.